Shane.
Hello.
Hi. Unfortunately, as I mentioned in the email, per the law, Gary Cofield, unfortunately, because we don't have a signed release unless you email me that release. Did you email me that release?
You didn't send me one, and he can sit here.
No, he cannot. I unfortunately, I'm following the law. It's really clear that it's a form of confidentiality that we must respect.
He has power of attorney.
He does not have power
Yes,
of
he
attorney.
does.
Mr. Wagner does. So
My dad also has power of attorney.
So we don't have the 2122. Did you provide the VA with a 2122A?
That is only when he's trying to pull my records, not when he's sitting in a conversation with me.
Shane, I'm just going to go off the thing, but I do have a question before you go anywhere. What is your name and spell it, please?
So you can check my email for that, sir.
Why can't you answer that?
What I'm going to do.
So you're refusing to give me your name?
Sir, you are not the veteran.
Ask her name.
What's your name? Can you spell it for me?
No, sir. How this is going to proceed is we have checked your records with the VA.
Okay, I'm
There
going.
is no power of attorney for Mr. Cofield.
Fine, tell him go.
He is still in the room. I'm ending the call. This is not...
I live here. I can't go anywhere, lady.
I'm ending the call, Shane. So here's what's going to happen. Moving forward, I'm going to give you the steps. In order for your father, because according to the records that we have with VHA, VBA, I've checked all the records, who is listed as your power of attorney was your old attorney, Mr. Wagner.
That was my stepdad.
So if you want, or whomever Mr. Wagner is, it says he's an power of attorney. So Mr. Wagner is your power of attorney.
I don't even know who that is.
VA.
I literally don't even know who that is.
So I sent you, he signed a form. It's in our records.
Yes, but I don't know who it is what I'm saying.
When was the record signed?
When was the record signed?
Steve, what? So I'm actually going to recommend that you do a FOIA request, and that FOIA request is going to tell you when those records were identified.
What are you guys trying to hide? What are you guys trying to hide?
Sir, I'm going to end this call. I am speaking to Shane, and I'm only giving him information on who his power of attorney is.
And you can't. Okay, I'm out of the room.
Okay, he's gone.
Your power of attorney, according to the VA Veterans Health Administration and the Veterans Benefits Administration, is Stephen J. Wagner. That's your last power of attorney.
Tell me you don't.
So
I don't know who that is.
I still hear you, sir. I'm ending the call. I will contact my supervisor, Shane. Moving forward,
You said-
I will be very clear.
You said if my dad leaves the room,
I just heard him talking to you.
He's in another room, though.
This is not the way that we're going to operate a professional session. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to coordinate another appointment with you. Your case is going to be interrupted, effective today. Your current attorney must do a new power of attorney if he's acting for all, and he may only observe. Any and all entities may only observe the process between me, the Veterans Administration, and you, the veteran. They are not there to tell us how to navigate through our process, nor ask questions.
Well, you're not answering my questions either.
So we're going to start with what we need to address first, right? We need to address the fact that you're asking people to be involved in the process. And I'm explaining to you that per the confidentiality laws, you and all veterans it's the confidentiality.
You don't have problems talking about my records with my school, so what happened to the HIPAA violations?
That is not a HIPAA violation. That we have there's a Privacy Act where we have the ability to communicate with educational institutions.
So I have a question. You say that she's saying that I'm continuing to threaten her, correct?
I'm only going to focus on the confidentiality. I'm not going to move on to the next things. We're not going to move on to the school. We're not going to move on to the behavior. We're not going to move on to the weapons. I'm going to talk about the confidentiality first, and that's going to be addressed first. Because until that is addressed, we're not going to move on to the next steps. So the first step is related to confidentiality of information per the law, per the Code of Federal Regulations. So
could you send those to me?
No, I will not. You can.
No, if you're going to tell me, if you're going to hold me accountable to laws, you have to provide them to me. You cannot just make up laws and then not prove that the laws exist, because you're making up all these claims right now that aren't true.
I have provided you with the 3288. I have provided you with the 21, or my supervisor has provided your attorney with the 2122A. I have explained to you that in order for a third party to participate in our process, that you must do the 3288. In order for you to...
You sent me a form, I filled it out, my lawyer sent it to you.
But he is asking for power of attorney, correct?
That's not what you told me to get him. You just told me to do that. So I did exactly what you said.
Right, and we've got that. That's why we're corresponding with him. The 21, the other form is where you are electing to have a power of attorney who can act on your behalf. In order for somebody to act on your behalf, you have to get a new 2122.
So you're saying that's the reason my dad can't be in here, because I need a 20...
Your dad can't be in here, nor can anybody else. You could have 5 people standing in there, and I would say the same thing. You may not have another individual in a session unless they do a 3288, because there is privy to confidential information going back. So with him being involved in the process to observe, the 3288 must be provided for a third party to observe. For a power of an attorney, if you want Mr. Benson, I believe, if you want Mr. Benson to be the advocate who can speak on your behalf, then that is where you have to change the power of attorney that's on file, not only with the Veterans Benefits Administration, but the Veterans Health Organization, which is the 2122A.
So did you actually send this to me before this session about my dad?
Which one?
Well,
yes.
What email did you send it to me where you said that, all you say?
Go to the one that's 11:16. 11:16 a.m.
Okay.
Okay, at the bottom, per the M28C, the VRC must clearly inform the claimant that audio or video recording of a telecounseling session is prohibited.
Well, the ADA says that you have to make reasonable accommodations for my learning disability, and I have had recording devices in the past when I was in school to help me remember the lessons.
So we are not doing a reasonable accommodation analysis right now. So that's not warranted. What we are doing...
Yes, it is.
Sir, we're not. That would require a reasonable accommodation analysis to identify that you could record sessions. We have not addressed nor discussed a reasonable accommodation analysis.
Well, then let's do that next. That could be on our list of things to do.
I will document that you are requesting a reasonable accommodation to be able to record, but that is not where we are. Where we are is with confidentiality.
Well, so you're saying that you want to talk about everything before I'm allowed to record, and then after we talk about everything, then I'm allowed to record.